We are living in interesting times where there's a lot of information, but sadly, a lot of misinformation. Hence, zero transformation. We live in a time where we have so many experts, but none of them are tested experts, because if you call yourself an expert or certified in a particular field, you need to be tested in that field. We live in a time where many people are marriage experts, but they've never been married. Others have never been divorced to understand. And the problem ends up becoming we start having different narratives. We have many people who talked about medical issues, but they are not in the field. They are working with what they've had. They've not tried, they've not been tested. Because the only way you know that you're good at something, you have to be tried and tested. There are many people in many professional fields, people claiming they understand, but some of them, they only looked. They were the guys who used to be sent from here and there, and that being sent already, they believe they're experts. There are people who will speak about security, military type, intelligence type, and you're thinking, wow, this makes sense. But no, they just watch too many movies and series and then documentaries, and all of a sudden, kaboom, they became the next expert. But they are not tested, they have no certification, there's nothing that they can prove. There's no affiliation professionally that says, hey, this person is. There's no company that can say, yeah, this person worked in this field. How many times are we getting to learn that most people claim them to be intelligent or refined are just people who either they were just doing the manual labor, or maybe they were an admin and they would see what other people are doing in operations, and all of a sudden they became the operative. It doesn't work like that. Anything that you claim to be, you must be tested. Everybody can claim to be a farmer. The question is, have you ever tilled a land? Have you ever woken up and had your crops destroyed by insects? Have you ever woken up and have chicken, which they were very okay, one next thing, ticks kill them off, or they had a disease? If you've not gone through that pain, you can't understand. Someone else will call themselves an animal expert, or any, whether it's a cat or a dog. Have you ever owned a cat? Have you ever owned a dog? Have you ever gone through the experience? You've not. You just saw your neighbor, your father, your mother, or your friend, or your spouse, or your partner, or your ex. That doesn't mean you know. We only know something if you go through the process. Everybody all of a sudden is an expert of AI. They'll tell you does this, that. Have you tested it? Have you been able to test, to see, and to refine? Because for example, if you say, I remember that times I've tested to give any particular instruction from my gadget and use another person's gadget, and I got a lot of misinformation. But most people say it is the in thing. Really? Have you done your research? Because at the end of the day, if you're not cautious and careful, we start creating narratives, we start building cultures, and they're false cultures. All of a sudden, everybody has a mental health issue. But the other things, they're not mental health, it's just pure common sense. There are places where everybody all of a sudden is a narcissist or toxic. Well, if it comes to narcissists, have they been tested by a medical practitioner who can then certify? Yes. And we have not only one, but two or three opinions that can then certify what type of narcissist they are, and and what are the recommendations. And if it's toxic, what's there to prove? Is there a pattern of this individual that then proves that they're toxic? Because most times people call each other toxic because someone has held you accountable, but you don't want to accept accountability. And because we live in a space and time where anyone can say anything, people will just take up a gadget, speak crap, only later on for someone to invalidate them of what they said. Let's say it's a business, and let's say you're in a particular cult business, and that business is affecting the other businesses, whether the type of competition. Why not get into the competition and bring out a brand? The only reason we get particular movements becoming stronger, or civic movements becoming strong, is because they amplify their voice. So if you don't amplify your voice or make any effort to, then nobody's going to know. The only know the only way someone knows that you have a business, you have to market it. You have to market it using, right now in the digital, and using all the platforms that you have. You have to market it, because word of mouth alone doesn't help. Remember, people have a lot to do. People have many things to do. The other thing, if you have a business, are there reviews of people who can they do a Google review and say, someone has given us testimonial of your product? Let's say if it's within the social media, do you have a screenshot of a customer being able to say, hey, I like your product? If you have none of that, you might want to work on your marketing skills. Because at the end of it, everybody can be an expert until you're tested. All of a sudden, everybody can drive. until you tell them, this is a manual car, and tell them drive. The first thing, someone who claims to be a driver will just hit gear 1 and move to 5 without going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm talking about a manual car. Because if you don't move from 1 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, eventually you're gonna crank up that gearbox. I'm speaking from experience because I've driven and because I've been a mechanic and I've changed cars, I've changed those, I've been on that engine. I understand a carburetor, I understand an EFI, I understand those words, the language that is there, because I've been a mechanic, I have changed cars, I've done that part. So I can speak from a place. If I speak on a professional field, because I do it, it's because it's part of my industry, it's something I've done, I have been tested, I have seen dust. We can all be 101 things. But the question is, have you been tested in it? Because it's easy to say that you know. It's okay, you can have information. We live in a world where we have a lot of information. But the question is, have you been tested? And so the challenge comes to those who have a voice, to those who can be able to be the sober people in the room, who can be able to say, hey, I'm seeing people, for example, there's an industry that has been misused, and I don't see so many people within that industry trying to say, to split the narrative. Like the massage industry, for example, many people have taken it, have destroyed the name of the brand and made it look like an X-rated adult content type of thing. I've been to many massages and I can tell it's a whole different ball game. It's not what you see. Sadly, those within the industry, we don't hear many of them speak about. So many people, when they hear you're going to a massage parlor, they are thinking you're going to get a quick, you're going to get a quickie after the service. But that's not the narrative. That's the wrong narrative. But it's been fed into media, fed into different content, fed into adult content. But there are people within that industry who can step and say, hold up, this is not the story. There are people who are morticians. The narrative being spinned upon anything to do with the morgue is what you see on media and other different people who build content around that. But an actual mortician can say, hold up, this information you guys are hearing, it's wrong. Unless you're a hairdresser and someone is saying, you know, you can use this product and this product and this product. If you're in the field, you understand the field, you can step up and say, hold up, this product has this and this and this and this and this. Let's say you are in an industry, political analyst. There are many people who are giving their opinion within politics, but you are a professional. You've studied politics. You've sat in these rooms. You've been in these rooms. You may be the sober mind. There are people who will pick up the acting industry or entertainment industry and start saying, oh, the entertainment, you have to do this contact ABCD. Someone who's in the industry is the sober mind in the room who can say, hold up, those are just opinions and feelings. The reality, you have to have ABCD. Let's talk the legal fraternity. Someone can come up and say, oh, as a lawyer, you have to do ABCD. No, those could be stereotypes. An actual lawyer or a judge or anyone within the legal field can step up and say, hold up, all this I'm hearing is spinning of narratives, they're all false. This is what's this is the reality. Let's see this transport industry, whether it's a taxi, whether it's riders, whether it's public transport. Someone can say anything, you know, in the public you have to do ABCD, or if it's gravities have to be ABCD. No, someone who's in the industry, the transport industry, is the best qualified individual to give an opinion. Why? Because this is what they do on a daily basis. Let's go to childcare. Someone in childcare say, oh, you just take children here and ABCD is done. No, someone within the childcare industry is the best qualified individual to be able to give an opinion. Right now, everybody's a therapist. All of a sudden, if you feel like this leg is like that, or this arm is like this, or if you dream like that, it means this. Lies. Someone who's in the industry, certified, qualified, is the best person to be able to give their opinion on that. And until we reach the point where we can hear the voices of those who actually are in the field, the voices of those who have actually gone through it, everything else becomes noise. And you know the problem is noise, you have to tune it out, because if you don't, it's going to start playing in the subconscious. Once it's playing in the subconscious, you start thinking maybe this is the narrative. How many times are we seeing right now within the social media space where one person spins a narrative, nobody validates it, nobody confirms it, people run with their emotions, and then end up making actions that are very false, destroy someone's character, destroy someone's life, destroying someone's property, only for them to come and lie. None of these things were real because no one did their actual work. Everybody all of a sudden is an investigator. There are forensic investigator because they watched CSI, because there was all these forensics on YouTube and any other platform. It doesn't make you have to go through the actual process. You have to see the bodies, dead or alive. Then you'll be like, okay, this is the real thing. Everybody can say they're a teacher, but have you taught? Do you have the certificate? Is there anything that validates you? So as long as we cannot validate someone's character, it's important that we have the real voices, those who are validated and approved to speak. Because if they don't speak, the lies will spin and the society will be destroyed. So let the real voices stand up.